Hey, beautiful, happy, healthy women family. Welcome to another Fearless Friday. I am Meg Hepner, the branch director for South Surrey. I am also a life coach, hypnotherapist, and the host of the Art of Being Human podcast. And today I am joined with the beautiful Amritha. She is a trailblazer for us out here in South Surrey. Amritha, welcome here. I adore seeing your face, and so I'm so glad we get to do this.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. And I'm super excited to be here too to share today's topic with you.
Yeah, so here's the thing. For those maybe who aren't familiar with you, Amritha, tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do.
Yeah, so I am a habit and health coach. So, what I basically do is I help you break bad habits and build healthy, sustainable ones towards the lifestyle that you want to create, the consistent life that you want to do, the consistent actions and habits that you want to have in your day to day life. And yeah, I graduated from the J. Shetty Certification School. And prior to this, I was a scientist. I'd worked in labs, in diagnostic labs and research labs as a scientist for around 10 years before I jumped onto this journey. And yeah, I've been living in different parts of the world. I've lived in Dubai, where I was predominantly throughout my life. And I've lived in India, and I'm now in Canada, BC.
Yeah, you finally made it to us. We've been waiting for you.
Yes. Yes, and I'm
um,
here with Happy Healthy Women. Super
yeah.
happy and excited about it.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think is so incredible about you is that you have this amazing scientific mind, but you also have this beautiful connection to like the arts. The other day we were talking and you were telling me about now I forget what it's called, but this beautiful movement that you're learning that moves the energy in your body. And it's amazing because when I talk with you, you get just as excited about the scientific part of life as you do about the feeling and emotion and arty side of life, for a lack of a better way of saying it. And I think that just makes you such a beautiful, well-rounded person. So I think that that is just an exceptional worldview to have, and I love that.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was about Qigong. I was talking about
Yeah.
what Qigong practices, right? And yeah, it is about movement and energy, but eventually it's all science because that energy is working on our body and it's a kind of science that's working on us. So that's why I'm very intrigued and I love all those kind of things.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. So today you contacted me and you said, okay, this is the topic that I want to talk about at our next Fearless Friday. And the minute I saw it, I was like, oh, good topic. I was so excited that you picked it.
Yes.
Because so often we go in certain directions when we feel overwhelmed, right? Like we go, okay, I need to manage my time better. I need to prioritize. I need to put in a schedule. I need to do this and that. And those are all good things. But one of the things that you brought up that's actually really important and we don't think about is energy management.
Yep.
How are we actually managing the energy we use as we go about life? And so I'd love to hear from you. What exactly is energy management? And why is energy management such an important thing? Because most of us will get to the end of our day and go, I'm exhausted, which is probably a good sign that we haven't been using our energy in the best way possible.
Yeah, so getting to the basics of what is energy management, right, Meg? So it's about how well we are managing our energy throughout the day. So it's not the energy consumption of our homes, but our personal energy. Energy is how engaged and how focused we are when we are doing an activity based on the time, on our time.
Mhm.
So it's basically the quality that we contribute to an activity over the um, quantity. So basically, it is all about quality versus quantity, right? Like energy management is how engaged and focused we are on that activity that we do. And getting to your next question, which is why is it important? So my last workshop was all around the circle of life, right? It was
Mm.
about how can we focus on our personal. So the main areas I would just pick now. I'm not going through all the details, but just the main areas would be personal, work, family, health, and spiritual, right? And of all these areas in our life, we may think that, oh, if we divide our time equally and focus on all the areas at the same time, that's a balanced life. But the thing is,
Mm.
that is not possible. Like we cannot put equal amounts of time into all that different areas at the same time. But what we can do is we can work and develop all the areas, not at the same time, but at different times. And that's where the energy management comes in, because it's about the quality of the time that we put into each activity in that area that determines the results. So say, for example, if you have in your schedule, like, okay, you're going to spend 1 hour time with your child, like, playtime. If you're constantly checking your phone and you're constantly distracted, like watching TV, or you're not like fully present, yes, you are ticking the box of, yes, I've spent the time with my child, but are you genuinely giving your energy? What do you want to contribute? Do you want to give your energy, or do you just want to give the time? So that's why I like to say that when we do an activity, it applies to not just the quantity of time, but the quality of time that we're doing. And it doesn't always have to be in our personal life, like spending time with our family, our children, but it also spills over to our work life, right? For example, would be when we this topic of single tasking and multitasking. Because when we single task, we put our full energy into something and we're able to do that task with less time, because we're putting our full energy, because we're fully focused. We're not getting distracted. We don't forget. We don't miss out. We leave out things. We don't leave out things. Whereas if we're multitasking, we're distracted because, oh, we're trying to focus on all these different things. And our brain is getting exhausted. Our brain is getting overloaded. We tend to make more mistakes. We tend to miss out on some things. And eventually we take more time to finish those tasks. So that's why it's important that we put in our full energy into a task rather than just trying to finish that task faster with less time. So yeah, so I personally believe it's not the quantity, but it's the quality of the time we spend. I think I
Yeah,
gave you a very big explanation of what is energy
no, it's
management.
beautiful. It's beautiful. And it made me think of a trap that I fall into. When I so what I'm a coach, so when I'm on a coaching call or when I'm hosting a workshop or whatever, I am there. I am fully present. I am giving all my energy. I am doing everything I can to create the most amazing space that I can for the whoever it is that's with me in that space. But this is what happens afterwards. I'm done and I go, okay, I'm tired, right? I've been present for such a long time. Now I'm tired. I need to rejuvenate. So then I'll go, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll take some time to relax and quickly get back to some emails on my phone. Or I'll take some time to like go have a drink of water and a snack and catch up on the mail that I just got, from whatever. And so when I'm at work, I can tell I give my energy there. But when I'm supposed to be relaxing, I begin to split focus. And I think what you were just talking about was such a revelation to me. It's like, oh, that's why I end the day going, I'm exhausted because I'm not giving that same presence, that same quality to the relaxation. I love that. So for me, that just cleared up a
Exactly.
trap that I fall in. Do you know of other traps that people fall into when they try, like multitasking is one, right? That's going to be a big one. Are there other traps that people fall into as they're trying to manage their energy?
Yeah, I think it would just be something related to the multitasking, which is also kind of like, not, I won't say similar, but procrastination would be one, because
Mm.
you decide to do something, you have the full energy, but then you're like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to do this other thing and then get to that. And then when you procrastinate, you're just spending your energy on things that are not relevant, or things that are not in your schedule that need to be ticked off. And then you spend
Yeah.
this energy procrastinating, doing other stuff, and then you don't have energy to do the thing that you really wanted to do or what is in your schedule, right?
Yeah. And I think what's funny about that is very often we tend to then put any discomfort we feel on the thing that we're procrastinating about. So we don't go, oh, I feel really junky because I'm procrastinating. We go, yeah, that thing is so hard. And it's that thing that's making me feel these emotions. And it's not. Probably once you get to doing the thing you're procrastinating, you'll feel really good because you'll be like, wow, I did it. It's the procrastination that makes us feel so bad. But I know for
Yeah.
myself, very often I'll be like, I don't want to do that thing. That thing is too hard. So I'm procrastinating and I put all the blame on that thing, not realizing that that's actually not the right place to put blame, so to speak. So I think that that's really, really interesting. Um, so here's the thing. One, I love the fact that you talk about how balance isn't possible because there was a time when people wanted to be so balanced, like, oh, we need to be balanced, we need to be balanced, as if our life was this easy thing to go, I'll spend a third of my time doing this, I'll spend a third of my time doing this, and a third of my time doing this, and done. But life is extremely integrated and messy and all sort of entwined. So, what happens if you have to give a lot of emotional energy to one place and you find that the rest of your life you just can't give that quality to? How do you kind of navigate that?
Yeah, so this would be a good example of this situation would be if you have to give a lot of time and energy to our jobs, because that's
Yeah.
where most of us spend most of our time, right? And that is exhausting, it takes energy. So what I have to say for that is, if so let's get to the basics of this. So if we are giving less time to something, it just means that we have more energy. And if we
Mm,
give more time to something, it means we're spending more energy in the process. That is, for example, our jobs, or like you said, right, in any area of your life that we are putting our time into. So that's when we have to make sure that we use and conserve our energy. So that means it would basically mean we take enough breaks to refuel ourselves. Like it could be a snack break, it could be a breathing break, it could be a small exercise break, or just simply a nap to energize ourselves. So we need to be conscious of the activity that we choose for that refueling break, right? And when I say conscious, it means that activity that we chose, is it truly refueling us? Like, is it truly energizing? Like, just like how you mentioned, you take that break to energize, but then you start doing other things, then it's not really energizing you, right? So for example, if we decide, okay, I'm going to take a snack break, I'll take that energy bar, it's going to give me a lot of, like, that's my refueling. But then consciously we have to think, is that energy bar really going to give us the fuel? Because is it high in sugar? Is it like a junk thing that you're eating? Is it very greasy? Is it cheesy? So that's where we have to be conscious of the activity we choose to refuel ourselves. And the easy thing that I like to follow, and that what I've seen other people do, is for every 30 to 40 minutes of work or a focus time that we give our energy into any task, it could be at your work or it could be also like at home, for every 30 to 40 minutes that you give your full energy, just take a refueling break. And you have to be you have to personalize that refueling break, because for different people it would work differently. Like for some people, maybe a 2 or 3 minute refueling break would energize them, but for maybe other people you might need to take a 10 or a 15-minute long refueling break, right? So I would say, for in that case, would be create a log of all the things that we do during the day, and look at where we're spending the maximum time and where we're spending the maximum energy for that activity. And
mm.
analyze ourselves, like, okay, what activity exactly that we do is actually tiring us, where exactly are we like exhausted, right? And then when we pinpoint that task or that area or that time of the day, is when we know, okay, I need to take a refueling break, like right here. So this is where I need to fit in that refueling break, and then be conscious, obviously, of what we choose to do in that refueling break. So it's about getting a mindset to shift from time and quantity to energy and quality. So
Oh, I
that's what I would
love
like to share.
that. I love that. I think that's so beautiful because what you're really calling us to is a conscious living, right? Like so often what happens, and I find myself guilty of this probably more often than I'd like to admit, but living in reaction, right? Like something comes up, I have to take care of it. Something comes up, I have to take care of it without much thought about how much energy is this, requiring from me, or is this really the best time of doing it? And it's just what I love about what you're saying is it's going like, no, I'm not going to minimize what I need. I'm going to check in with myself constantly, going, what do I need right now? And is this thing actually giving me what I need? Because I was saying to my husband the other day, um, I was laughing because I said it was 3:30. And I said, I'm so frustrated that I'm so tired. Like, I don't get it. Why am I so tired? And he said to me, have you taken any breaks today? And I'm like, no, no, I haven't. And I'm like, oh, that's why I'm so tired because I haven't. I mean, even while I was eating, I was walking around doing things. And he's like, no, I think you just need to sit, like just sit for a minute. And it was so interesting because one of the things that fuels me up, so I love that you're bringing this up, is I will
Yeah.
go and I will make my room dark and I will just go and I'll lay in a dark room for like 20 minutes, like
Wow.
no stimulation, no sound,
Wow.
no nothing. And after that, I'm like, "Oh, I feel so much better." I don't sleep because I don't like to sleep, but I'll just sit up and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm ready." which actually is
Yeah.
something, and I'm curious about your thoughts about this. One of the things that some people will do for a break, and intuitively, I feel like this isn't going to be healthy, but I want to hear what you have to say about it because I could potentially be wrong. Staying open to being wrong. But a lot of people will go on social media as their break and be like, ugh, I'll just scroll for a while. And I'm like, to me, social media is an energy sucker. Like it's just like it's an energy vampire. So what do you think when people go like, oh, I'm gonna go on social media, that will be my break?
So it's about that person being conscious and aware that if they take that social media break that they've chosen to take, is that refueling them? Like, do they
Mm,
find that sitting at a screen for 10 minutes? Okay, I don't know what job that person is doing, but I'm just assuming that if you're looking at a screen for 30 minutes or 1 hour, and do you really want to take a break that is again looking at another screen and you're using your brains because you're like reading the post, or maybe you're not reading it, just like scrolling over the pictures aimlessly, blindly. But is it truly refueling? Like for me, I would say refueling would be like, I take a oxygen break, like I go and I breathe in more. And then when I get more oxygen in my brain and my body, then I
mm,
have the energy to like I'm not doing any physical activity, but still working with a computer or working on a screen drains you out, right?
yeah.
So it depends what works for the person. If that person feels like, oh, they're scrolling and they're getting energy after that, if it works for them, I don't have anything to say. But I don't truly think that it definitely would give them a lot of energy just scrolling through social media. But like I said, right,
Well,
it's a personal thing.
yeah, and it's interesting because one of the things to think about, I think, is even just long-term effects, right? Because one of the things we can use a carrot or a stick to motivate us, right? And so what's interesting about that is, and I'm just thinking of an example in my mind now, but let's say you're saying, okay, I'm going to use my social media and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to scroll. And all of a sudden you're scrolling, let's say through all these people who are, fit or making healthy meals or whatever. And you go, okay, I should go do that too. Right. And you may go, well, see, that motivated me to do something positive. But if that motivation comes from a I should do that, then in the long term, that's going to be a pressure and a burden that you carry around. I should, I should, I should. And so sometimes I think we have to look at things and go, even if it made me feel good in the moment, is it really going to have long term effects? Because I think even for myself, like I'm a big chocolate fan. And so like a refuel for me would definitely be some chocolate. Like go sit on my deck in the sunshine, have a piece of chocolate. But in the long run, that may not be good because I also have a personality that I begin habits very quickly. So if I do something like 2 days or 3 days in a row, boom, it becomes a habit. Like, and then I can't shake it. Then if I don't like the habit, it can take me like 6 months to get rid of it. So if I were to eat chocolate every day, that would be really bad for me. So even just thinking about the long-term effects of
Yeah,
things.
but you know what, Meg? I like the sitting on the deck and getting some sunshine and
Yes.
breathing. That's a good break though. Like maybe
Yeah.
not the chocolate part,
Yeah.
but just getting some sunshine, doing some breathing, and just getting some fresh air. That's a perfect refueling break.
Yeah. I
And
love that.
coming back to the part where you said that yes, that person would scroll and be like, okay, that break gave him an idea or her an idea to like work out. But is it truly something that person is going to stick through forever? And then what happens in that process of when we do the social media break of checking is if we're not conscious of our time, what happens is, yes, you may get energy because you're taking a break, but in that process, we might lose the time. We might like lose track of our time. And then
Mm,
we're compromising on our time management. Because then we start
yeah.
scrolling and then we're like, oh, the 5 minute break becomes like a 10-minute break. And then you're like, oh, okay, now I need to go to the washroom. And then you take another break. And then it just, like you just use your time. So again, it's all
Yeah.
about being conscious of what you're choosing to do.
I love that. I love that. It's such a good topic. And I think
Yeah,
it's such a relevant topic because for so many of us, we end the day exhausted and we could be doing it in such a more beneficial way.
so true.
So
Yeah.
you have a workshop coming up on about this. So tell us a little bit about this workshop. Tell us where we can find it. Because I think this is something we all need to dive into.
Yes. So my workshop is going to be about how we can accomplish our daily tasks with less time and more energy, right? So I'm going to talk about 11 success principles towards optimum energy and time management. And I just want to say that don't miss it, guys, because it's all the information that I've learned from the J. Shetty Certification School. It's brilliant. It's like gems and gems of knowledge and information. So you don't want to miss it. It's worth it. It's definitely going to be worth it. It's going to be all packed in that 1.5, 2 hours. And yeah, you're going to take away so much. So it's going to be on April 7th and 13th at 6 p.m. and 10 a.m. respectively. And I think, Meg, you'll be posting the information with the
I will
video.
post the links. Absolutely. I'll post the links with the video. So make sure that you go check that out, because it's like you said, there's gems. And when you hear a gem and you learn how to implement it in your life, I mean, things can just change, and it's a beautiful and amazing thing. So thank you so much, Amritha, for sharing this with us, for shining a light on the importance of energy management. I can't wait to see what you're all going to teach and what's all going to come from this. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much. For your listeners, thank you for spending time with us.
Yeah,
we will
thank
see
you
you
so
again
much.
next Friday. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, thank you all. Bye.